Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. You've just tuned in to Street Talk, and I am your host, Loretta Rose. I am so excited about my guest today. I will tell you, I found out he's an author of 18 books. He is a native of Phoenix City, and he has a success story that is going to bless you. Stay tuned. It's Street Talk with Loretta Rose here on Cable TV. Thank you again for tuning in to today's show. I have a great guest today, and I'm going to warn you, this is a real talk discussion. So we're bringing you some real talk, and it's going to bless you, and it's going to bless someone else. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to let you know my guest is Mr. Keith Austin, who is from Phoenix City. Welcome to the show, sir.
And thank you for having me.
I am so glad to have you on.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, let me tell everyone before we go into talking to you, Keith found me on social media, and we're friends on social media. I had no idea who he was until he told me. He called me one day and he reminded me who he was. This was a schoolmate. We grew up in Riverview and Frederick Douglass, right? Mm-hmm. We grew up as children. And he reached out to me because his heart cry was for the young people. And his heart was so compelled to help this younger generation. And he said, I have something to say. Can I come on and talk about it? Now, bringing you up to speed, we're going to have this interview and this conversation. I want to thank you for being so transparent before we even go into it.
It was God's word.
I am super, super proud of you. Now, Keith, you grew up in Phoenix City. Okay, y'all know Fred Douglass, Frederick Douglass. And, you know, that's home because I was there, and then Riverview. And you still have family here?
Yes.
Still have family here. So when I lost contact, I haven't seen you since we were teenagers, I believe. Is that right? I was about 18 years old. Yeah. You reminded me. What happens from then, that last time I saw you, to now?
Well, it's been a long journey.
It's been a long journey.
After I last seen you on Victory Drive, I ran around in the streets for 5 more years, and I went to prison.
Wow. We were about 18, 19?
Yeah, the last time I seen you.
Wow.
Then I went to prison when I was 23 years old. 23.
You went to prison. How long you were in prison?
24 years and some change.
Oh my gosh.
When I got out, I was 40. I'm 48 now.
So when did you get out?
I got out in October last year, but I was in the halfway house for 6 months. I had a bracelet on my leg. The bracelet didn't come out to July of this year.
Praise God. Now see, I never been in that side. I never experienced anything. What does it mean? I've heard of people saying being in a halfway house. What does that mean?
It's a little house where you be in when you work. You go to work and you pay them like 15 or 25% of your check.
Oh.
So it help you so you can make some money.
Praise God. Wow. So Keith is on because he's being transparent because he has a heart cry to help other young people. Keith, oh wow. I want to just commend you again because I've had someone to reach out to me and say they want to share their story. They want to help somebody, but I've never had anyone to this magnitude of the way you came on. You are an author of 18 books.
Yeah.
When did you start writing?
I started writing probably about 20 years ago.
And you were incarcerated.
Right. It's so much lockdown in the feds. So I ain't had time to do nothing but write. Be locked down 9 or 10 months, you know, because the compound get locked down so much. And I started entertaining myself by writing books.
Wow. Wow, this is so amazing. This is so good because this is going to help someone. Before you went off to prison, do you mind sharing what happened, what led you there?
Okay, I was in the streets. I ran around in the streets, you know, leaning on my own understanding. And I was out there, I was a drug dealer, a gambler, and a hustler, you know, and all that, it led me to prison. And believe it or not, that was the beautiful thing that ever happened to me, that I went to prison. You know, because my grandma used to pray for me so much and she couldn't do nothing, and she put me in the hands of the Lord. And so while I'm in prison, it's so much sense of killing going on in the streets and so much sense of killing going on in prison, and I couldn't do nothing about it. All I do is just sit there and watch these little young boys, and I'm old enough to be their father, and I look at all them little young guys, and so, you know, I prayed about it. When I prayed about it, God helped me out, so I was able to birth my first book, Transformation, Part 1. And the book got so good to me, I birthed Part 2, because I learned that them trials and tribulations, they able to awaken the people. But at one time I thought, how could my life be good enough to help somebody when I thought that I didn't have a good life? And I thought I wasn't no good for myself, let alone no one else. And so as time progresses, you know, I kept praying about it and trying to learn God and talking to older guys older than me, and they started helping me, and then I just started writing books. I just took off.
Wow. So in the process of being incarcerated all of those years, you've developed a relationship with God.
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow. And I can tell you've had a lot of teachable moments, and now you're wanting to help someone else. And you pretty much were gone all of your adult life.
Yes.
And now you want to help others. Wow. So you've been out since free, pretty much, I would say.
Right.
Free since October?
No. I had a bracelet on my leg. You know, I was on house arrest.
House arrest.
For 6 months. I just can go to work and go back in the house.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was limited to where I can go. I couldn't come down here then because I had the bracelet on.
Wow.
So once I got that bracelet on, then I was able to come to Phoenix City. And then I was able to come on your show. But with that bracelet on, you can't do no social media. Nothing.
Wow. Wow.
Not even on Facebook.
You are helping somebody. It was someone that never walked that walk. They don't understand that life. And I'm just in awe right now. So you're living in Montgomery.
Yes.
That's where you reside now.
Yes.
So you have the brace off permanently now?
Yes.
Okay. So that means you are considered free now.
Yes.
Praise God. What a blessing.
Thank
What a
you.
blessing. So you're working in Montgomery.
Yes.
You know, what would you say to some young men that are out there? Because I've had an opportunity. This is the beauty of street talk. I love getting out there and talking with the people. And we're going to have another show, and you may have to be a motivational speaker on this particular one. I had some gentlemen that have been incarcerated, and some are frustrated with the system, and they feel like that there is no hope for them. They feel like they're stuck. But then this other gentleman, they call him Honey Boy, who I want you to meet, because he does street evangelism. And he said that there is a way, and you are proving that as well. Some of them feel like they can't get a job, but then everybody don't have that drive like you got. I want you to encourage them to let them know that there is a way of escape. You don't have to just even though you have been incarcerated or have been in prison, you don't have to be a prison in your mind, even though you're out of that facility. Because some people still have it in their mind.
But you also have people that physically free, but they mentally locked
Ooh,
up.
what you say? Ooh.
That's the way how it is, and it's the truth.
Oh my God, my God.
But the way how I learned it, I escaped through writing. I escaped. See, since I was a problem, since I was in the street and I was a problem in the streets, now I want to be a solution to the streets.
Praise God.
You know, I want to. That's the reason why I wrote Transformation 1 and 2, to give the young people a present view of what's going on in prison.
Yes.
You know, to show them. They think they want to go there, but that ain't where they really want to go. And then prison, it can be whatever you want it to be. If you look for the bad things in life, that's what you will get. If you look for the good things, then you'll find the good things in life.
Right.
And it's just like also out here in this world. You look for the bad things, you get the bad
get the
things.
bad things.
You look for the good things, you get the bad things. See, when I was in prison, just like it tells you when you're on the street, free, you can live in the world but not of the world. So when I was in prison, I lived in prison but not of prison. My mind was free. My body was physically locked up, but my mind, mentally, I was free as a bird.
Wow.
Cause that's the reason why I was writing all them books. And people's always ask me, how can you able to talk about this and that? I said, through imagination. I let it just take me away. And that's how I start enjoying myself.
Amen. I am so proud of you. I am so proud. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about 3 of the books, because he's written 18 and I thought it was just 3. And I got an awakening this morning, today when he came in. We're going to talk a little bit about the book, and also we're going to give some books away, and I'll let you know at the end of the show how you can win. It's Street Talk with Loretta Rose. We're talking to Keith Austin, and you're learning how he took a negative experience and turned it into a positive. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Families come in all sizes and shapes. Sometimes your friends are your family by choice, or sometimes you're just stuck with Uncle Charles. But what we know is that you want to protect the people that are close to you. But the flu can unravel everything. Your flu vaccine protects you and your family. No matter what draws your family together, protect yourself, protect your family. Everyone needs a flu vaccine.
Ready? And 3, 2.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in again in today's show. We're talking with Keith Austin. He is an author of 18 books, and he's from Phoenix City. And welcome home. Welcome home.
Thank you.
And I'm super, super proud of you. So if parents, grandparents, friends, neighbors are watching the show, please get this message to your grandchildren, young people in the community, because Keith Heart is compelled to help the younger generation. He wants to share his life experience to save another generation. And prayerfully, they will adhere to the message, because there's help. There is assistance in this message that you're projecting out and giving to the people. So, Keith, you started writing many years ago. Do you know the first book, what year it was written? Or at what point did you start writing?
I started writing 20 years ago.
20 years ago, okay. So you were about 28.
Yeah.
Because you're 20 years ago. Well, you've written more books in your lifespan than some people, I think, have ever imagined or thought of writing. I mean, 18 books. You've encouraged me in so many ways. You've encouraged me in so many ways. And this was a coping mechanism for you. And it was a positive thing, because you took your experiences, you took what you were seeing, and you put it in the form of a book where people can read it and can be helped and can find themselves in the story. Because it's one thing telling people one thing, but if they don't understand it or can't connect with you or it, you're not going to help them. You know that.
Right.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to help them. So we're going to talk about Transformation 1, because you got 2. Because when I came across Transformation 2, and then when I saw 1, I said, oh, okay, so 2 is an addition to 1.
Right.
So tell us because we're going to give away I'm going to give away each of the books that we're going to be talking about today, because I want it to bless someone. So Transformation 1, tell us what's that all about, just in a brief synopsis.
Okay, Transformation 1, part 1 rather, is a beautiful book about awakening the young generation, where I give them a president's view of what's going on in prison. In that book, I give them trials of tribulation where they can be a beacon, so they can awaken other peoples and show them the light in that dark tunnel. It is a young man guidance in life, not only in prison, inside and out, but it also teach them about God.
Amen. That's good.
You know, they need to read that book.
Amen. Wow. Wow. Transformation 2. So apparently you wrote Transformation 1 and you felt the need to do a part 2. Why did you feel like there was a need to do a part 2?
Believe it or not, it wasn't my doing. The Lord set fit for me to make a part 2 because the part 1 and part 2 didn't come out till like about it wasn't birthed to 8 months later. I didn't even have the knowledge of making a part 2 to it. But due to the situation, we went on lockdown again, and I said, the Lord told me, let's make a part 2, and that's what happened. See, I don't get no credit. God get all the credit.
Yes.
Because that's where all the credit goes.
Yes, yes.
You know, I'm only a vessel.
Yes.
Them are His words.
Yes.
You know, so, but part 2, it was needed because it shows them. I show them the trials and the tribulations and the temptations. And I show them how these guys went to prison, as they call us, savages and animals. And, you know, I show them that really we're not no savages and animals. And I go to telling them about a word called Hadith. It ain't nothing but like stories, a story within a story. And I show them how that they are more than what the people think they is. Yeah. And I show them that they is the sleeping giants that need to be awakened.
Wow. You know, that's very profound what you just said, because some people can lose identity of themselves in a situation like that.
And I explained that to them in that book about their identity.
Ooh, wow, wow. That's why you're such an overcomer, because you found who you were. It probably took you being isolated, being away.
Right.
Like you just said,
right.
It turned out to be a blessing for you.
Right.
Because you found out who Keith really was.
That's
the street wasn't giving it to you. You know, it may, you know, when I talk to young people, they feel like, oh, it's, you know, this is my family. This is my support system out here. It feels good to them, but at some point, that's gonna get old too.
That's the way we would think at the time. That's the blind leading the blind. You know, if you ain't, and I tell you in that book, Transformation 1 and 2, if you're not amongst their circle, it's gonna be hard to get in their circle because they're gonna look at you as an outsider and they ain't gonna accept your word as law.
Wow. I like that. You giving it to us
it's
real.
the truth, and all that is in the book. And part 2, while you were talking about part 2 is a must read. You know, because like I say, and about the awakening the sleeping giants, we are the chosen ones. We gifted, intelligent, and natural intelligent.
And that's what's in Transformation 2. It's an acronym, and it's giant, right?
Yes.
It's an acronym, giant, and it's about the sleeping giant. So tell us what that means again.
All right, the G for giant, the I for intelligent, the A for and the N for natural, and the T for intelligent. You know, we don't learn our worth. A lot of us don't learn our worth until we go to prison. Once we get sat down, you know, we wake up out the tragedy. The tragedy wake us up.
Yeah.
Once we get incarcerated, that's when we learn our talent in life. We learn our purpose in life.
Ooh, wow.
That's when you go to learning things. When you get on the sideline, you can see the inside of a circle from the outside of a circle.
Wow.
And like I say in them 2 books, that's when I tell them, I just drop jewels on them because that's what they need. I give them what they need, not what they want.
Yes.
You know, I talk about the sagging. I talk about the word dog. I talk about the rap music, about how everything misleading us.
What did you say about the sagging?
They need to stop sagging, because in that book is one of my characters. He getting critical condition because he was sagging. If he wasn't never been sagging, then he wouldn't have never got in critical condition. But by the grace of God, the people said he wasn't going to walk, that he wasn't going to walk again, and he was paralyzed in a wheelchair. And his message was to teach the people about sagging and to tell them why he was confined to that wheelchair. And it was all due to sagging.
Wow, 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 wow.
So every character story unfolds at the end. And each one of them going to give you their message.
Wow.
Because everyone has one.
What do you say about the music? Because, let me say, 30 years ago,
Beautiful music.
Thank you. Hello. You know, our time. It was beautiful, timeless,
Right.
still good today. You hear it today on the radio, it sounds like it did back then. It was meaningful. It had meaning behind it.
Right.
So what do you say, you know, how influential the music could be for them?
That music is something else. You know, it lead them astray. They already on the wrong track as it is. That music just pushing them on down the hill with no brakes.
Wow.
They ain't got no brakes on them.
Wow. Whew, wow. So you're going to get real talk in the book, but you know what? I believe that's what I love. I love real talk. I really do, because that's how you help people.
Right.
If you sugarcoat it or try to just hide it, sweep it up under
Right.
here, you're not helping them.
You got to give it to them straight
You
with
gotta
no
give
chaser.
There you go.
They might not want to hear it, but you just got to give it to them real and raw.
Now, this other one, I saved this one for last. A Daughter's Cry. Wow. Tell us about that, because when I asked you about that, you said something that really stuck with me. And the reason it did, because I'm a daughter.
Right.
I'm a mother that's raising a daughter. When I go out and I see young ladies, when I speak to encourage young girls, I look at them as daughters,
Right.
not just somebody else's daughter. Because I know at some point these young men and these young ladies will be serving us in our latter years.
They the future.
Exactly. So tell us what A Daughter's Cry is all about.
A Daughter's Cry is a novel where I share with the young males about it's important for them to be a part of their daughter's life. Because if they does it, then she's gonna look for love and the father figuring out the wrong place. And the same as Transformation Part 1 and Part 2, I try to show the young males about looking for love in all the wrong places. Like they say, we get our love from the street, because I used to think that too, because I was one of them. You know, my mother used to tell me, don't go down the street and hang out with that crew, I'm gonna get in trouble. I did what she told me don't do, I did the opposite.
You did the opposite.
And see me, when I went to prison, I learned that while I was in prison, I broke my mother's heart, my grandmother's heart, and I ain't even feel no pain because of me being a street guy.
Yeah.
And then it hurted my kids. It affected them. So as I got older, I started learning. So, and make a long story short, you know how people say that they had assumption to say that we had bad parents. We weren't raised in a good home. We didn't fail our parents.
Yeah.
I mean, our parents didn't fail us. We failed our parents.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the way our life is. We was the bad guy. It ain't got nothing to do with our mother and our father, the home we came from.
It was a choice that
Right.
you
We made bad choices,
Yeah,
bad decisions.
Right. So how's your relationship with your children now?
It's so, you know, because I've been gone all their life.
It's okay, but I commend you because you're putting forth an effort to rebuild a relationship, and you're winning by doing that. But it's a process.
Right.
And keep in mind, after being gone away, because I've had some family that has been incarcerated years ago, and coming from there, being gone for a long time, and coming to today's time, it's a whole different world. So it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment. And I pray that they will be patient with you as well, because life changed a lot in 28 years ago.
Right.
So what has been, I want to know what have you learned, your greatest lessons? If you can share some of your greatest lessons by being away, because it has changed a lot. I mean, technology,
Right.
that's one, I'm still learning too. But technology is one thing, but what has been some of your greatest lessons you feel like?
Well, in prison or out of prison,
In prison.
my greatest lesson is that I found my purpose in life.
Praise God.
I found that instead of thinking that I was useless, I found that I am useful.
You are. Mm-hmm.
And like I say, once again, I come from the streets. Now I want to go back and show the people a better way and show them that being the bad guy, there's too many bad guys out there now. We need good, it's a shortage on good guys. You know, so I challenge y'all, the guys that from the streets, I challenge them to go out and talk to the youth and save them, because now it's time for us to save them.
Amen.
They need saving.
Yeah.
You know, my children grown, and I still hug them and kiss them, tell them,
right.
boy, hold your head down, I love you.
That's
Because
right.
the children need it.
That's right.
So like I said, I challenge all the guys to go back to the street. I go to the hood, I walk in the hood,
Yeah.
and I talk to all the little young guys. I know them by their mothers and their fathers.
Yeah.
And you know, and I tell them about my trials and tribulations, because I want for them to be better people. I want them to walk through that temptation.
That's right.
I don't want them to yield to it.
That's right.
You know, I don't want for my past to become their future. And like Whitney Houston said, she believed the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. And so do I. If we don't teach the young generation now, then we're going to be on a Titanic, and they're going to crash all of us. We dying out like dinosaurs getting swallowed up by jaws.
Wow.
And they still trying to ball.
Wow.
They see what happened to everybody. But yet they still want to follow that trend. So now it's time to reverse it. We got to give them something to replace their negative with.
That's
and show them something positive.
That's right. And that's what you've done. You took a negative situation and flipped it into a positive. And I pray that young people will get this concept. If you could just use this concept, it will transform your life. Now I understand what you mean about transformation. Now I understand. This will transform your life. Okay, let everyone know, because I read the back of the book, and I see you can get your books at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, all of that. You go. I'm proud of you. So help everybody that are watching know how they can get the books. If they don't win the book, how they can get the books.
They can get them from Amazon.com, Creative Space, or they can get them from me. I keep a trunk full of them.
He sure does. He sure does, because when he called, he said, I need to meet you. I need to give you some books. And I met him on the street downtown, and he had a
Special
trunk.
delivery.
He does special deliveries. And I was like, oh my God, this is how we used to do business.
Right.
Back in the day. This is how you meant business. You said, I want to get these books in her hand. I said, how much do I owe you? He said, you don't owe me anything. I just want to share the word. He said, I just want to share the word. Keith, when we go on that other assignment I told you about,
Yeah.
I need you.
I'll be
need
glad
you.
to be there.
I need you, because this is what they need. People need to see what you're saying. So, I believe what I'm going to do is have my email address at the end of the show, and it's Loretta Rose, the number 94@gmail.com. I need you to email me and tell me that you've seen this show and you would like this book, and I will. Keith brought 6, right? We have 6 altogether that we're going to give away. And I wanted to use it and plant a seed in some young man or some young lady's life. Now, before we get ready to close out, A Daughter's Cry, I read in there where you want this to help prevent them from becoming victims of the street life.
Too many of them, they get in trouble with the bad guy. Just like it say, why good girls love bad guys like bad guys. It's time for them to change now.
Wow.
We want to save the young lady from going through them old headaches and pains when she don't have to, if possible.
Now see, that's what struck me about that when he said that. Because no, I don't want my daughter to deal with the headaches with a man, because a man don't understand who he is. Still trying to find out who he is. He haven't found his identity. I love that, what you said about that. You're sharing that to help other young ladies. And he shared about how you want them to understand their worth, realize how valuable they are. And some of them won't even get that from their fathers. But I thank God you're being a father to many.
It teach them the difference between a father and a daddy, because it's a big difference.
Wow. I'm gonna have to have you on the Morning's Tea.
I look forward to it.
We're going to have to have you on the Morning's Tea as a motivational speaker to encourage the people. Well, I'm going to let you share from your heart to the people, someone that is watching. There may be a grandmother, there may be a mother praying for her child to be where you are now, because you are a product of prayer. Someone prayed for you. You couldn't understand it then, but now you are the fruit of those prayers that was given, that was rendered for you. I I pray that you could do the same for someone else. Speak from your heart to the people as we close out.
By me growing up in Fred Douglas, the whole prod used to pray for me. My grandma stayed on her hands and knees praying for me. And as I got older, I got wiser, and I learned that prayer was the thing that saved me. I advise all the young guys, if they love their mother and their grandmother like they say they do, they need to change their ways and start living for their grandmother and for their children, and especially for their daughters. And their sons most definitely gonna need them. You know, because now it's time for us to save our family. And we gotta save the young generation. It's up to us. We're gonna be the ones who let them down. We're gonna fail them. So that's the reason why everybody who have a voice, they need to voice it. Because it's powerful, and knowledge is power.
Yes, wow. God bless you. I'm so proud of you, my brother. I am super, super proud of you. Thank you so much for being transparent and sharing. And thank you for blessing us with these books. I'm definitely going to give them away and pass it on. And these are great seeds being planted in the lives of another generation. You're a winner. And I just want you to know you are a winner. So thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. Please share it, pass it on, email me, and let me know that you saw the show and you're interested in the book. And it is freely given to you. So we want to thank our special guests for being on today. And I want you to know, life is all about what you make it. What you put out, it will come back. So continue to plant great seeds because the harvest is great. You've been watching Street Talk with Loretta Rose here on Cable TV.